beautiful friend, and welcome back to another week of the Whole Soul Podcast. I'm really excited to dive into today's episode, which is centering around social dynamics. And I will touch on social anxiety a little bit because it's something that I've dealt with within my own life for a really, really long time. It's something that I still experience in certain moments to this day. But the last week has been really special because I have learned so much through social dynamics, through being in certain social settings and situations that just showed me so much about myself. And it also showed me and taught me so much about social interactions and how to navigate and essentially hold the space when there is 3 or more people in the room. So to give a little bit of context from the point that I'm speaking from, I'm someone that is very observant. I'm someone that usually likes to observe and just be a very deep listener of what's happening in the space. I'm not someone that fights for the microphone or wants to be in the spotlight all the time in conversation, especially in group settings. I pretty much prefer having deep drop-ins with just one-on-one conversations. Although social situations are cool with more people, but I do prefer just going deeper one-on-one with people. So something that I've noticed throughout my life, and there's actually a situation that came up the last few days where I was in a big social setting. There was about 8 of us, and being the observer and the deep listener that I am, I was just letting things play out, right? And something that I noticed that sometimes I have conversations with people about if they're more of an observer, something that I've gotten triggered about in the past, and something that did bring up a trigger in this particular situation, being in this social setting, is just noticing that there is one person in the group that is taking up 80% of the space, not really leaving room for other people to contribute, not leaving the space for there to be inquiry or natural conversation to unfold. And I think this is a very interesting topic and thing to talk about because every single human being has unique experience and wisdom and information to share from their own experience. So when you're in a social dynamic, it's so important to be aware of the balance of energy that is in the space. Be aware if you are taking up a lot of space and not really leaving room for people to contribute. Notice if you are just talking about yourself the whole time and not inquiring about other people or what they think about the topic at hand. This is something that I've been talking about with my partner recently because I notice when I'm in these spaces where there's 1 or 2 people just taking up 80 to 90% of the conversation, I'm not somebody who is going to just put my foot down and try to take the microphone from the people, because that just doesn't feel natural to me. It doesn't feel good to me to do that. Although I could, it's just not a part of my nature. So I was talking to my partner about this and how essentially we can navigate these kinds of spaces. And what we came to the conclusion of at the end is to really sit down with the person that maybe is taking up 80% of the space one-on-one after the social situation and just give a gentle and kind reflection of how I felt in the situation. Or if this happens to you, it's a really good practice to really step into a vulnerable share type of space where you communicate your feelings. Not in a way of projecting your anger or discomfort or, having animosity towards the person, but rather communicating from a place of forgiveness, compassion, understanding, and just sharing how you felt. And this is a really important thing to do because since you are experiencing this, you're probably not the only person that experiences this in the course of this person's life that may be taking up a lot of the space. And I think it's really important that if you're feeling something and it bothers you and it triggers you, you have the opportunity to communicate with the person who you are triggered by, to also give them the reflection of how you perceive them in the space and how they are taking up the space. This is really powerful. It's a really powerful way of communicating and of taking the opportunity of growth for yourself and also presenting an opportunity of growth for the other person. How they receive it is out of your control, but as long as you can show up from a space of nonviolent communication and compassion and understanding of the other person, that is so, so, so important. So this is something that is so challenging, honestly, and it's something that I'm actively trying to step into deeper and deeper and deeper as time goes on, because it is a very challenging thing to be so vulnerable, to really call out someone for how they are acting or being in the space. And there's context to this too. If you don't really know the person, if it doesn't matter, then, it might be best. You can use your discernment of if you feel that it is important to share with the person or not. But if it is a close friend or someone that you see often or somebody that you care about, offering that reflection is so beautiful. And I honestly believe that it's an act of service for your growth to speak your truth and communicate, and also offer the other person a gentle reflection of how they are being. It's really interesting because this is a situation that has come up in my life over and over and over again, where I'm in a social group and I just don't feel the call to speak because there is so much space being taken up by other people who are dominating the conversation. And something that I'm learning to see or trying to understand of why this keeps coming up in my life in different seasons and as I get older, I'm really starting to see it from this perspective that if it's coming up over and over and over again, there's something here for me. There's something here for me to alchemize, because clearly this thing that keeps showing up where I don't really have the space to speak is triggering me. And the more that I can not just silence myself and not contribute, I can start to step up. I can speak my truth. I don't have to shut down because I feel like there's no space. I can actively communicate in the group dynamic that I'm noticing this, and not calling out the person in an aggressive, projecting type of way where you're putting them on the spot, but maybe opening the space if you're feeling that way in a group dynamic to be like, hey guys, I just want to offer a reflection for everyone in the group. Because let's say there's a group of 8 people, there's 2 people dominating the conversation. 6 of the other people are probably feeling the same way as you're feeling if they're not speaking or contributing. And I think this is such a powerful way too to step into embodied leadership, to step into empowered communication, and to practice assertive, nonviolent communication. Because when people are taking up a lot of space and they aren't aware of it, they're not doing it from a place of harm. It's just coming from a lack of awareness. And when you can be the one to interject, because you do have the awareness of social spaces and the balance of energy and the balance of talking that is happening, you can be the guide for the group and for the people that are taking up space to really check themselves, to have the awareness that they are talking a lot, taking a lot of space, and not really leaving room for more conversation and diversity in the people that are in the space to take place. This is such an interesting topic because it's not something that you can see with the physical eye, but in social groups and social dynamics, there is just an energy that is felt. You either vibe or you don't vibe. And when things feel good, there's a sense of ease in your nervous system, in your body, in your communication, where you feel you have this space to be yourself and to communicate your truth. Whereas if the vibes are off, or people are dominating conversations, or there's just a lack of awareness, it doesn't create a safe space for your nervous system to just feel like there is the space to talk and communicate. And I think this is actually something really powerful for the more gentle and soft-spoken, sensitive souls that maybe their tikkun, or the thing that they're working on in this life, is to step into deeper empowered communication. I think this podcast specifically is for those people, because I am one of those people who is learning how to strengthen my communication, how to speak my truth when I feel that something is off, or I feel that the energy is imbalanced. It's a really powerful thing for highly sensitive people or empaths to really step in this role. And there will be situations in your life that will keep coming up, reflecting the same thing to you, because it's giving you the opportunity to transcend it, to move forward, to improve your communication, to be more rooted in truth, in your divinity. So know that your sensitivity is your superpower. The social awareness that you have is a gift. And if you deal with social anxiety, or you don't feel comfortable speaking, this is something that is pointing you to do the work to feel more comfortable in yourself, to do the work to speak up more, so that you do start to feel more comfortable in social settings and being seen and showing up in your energy, being more assertive in it. Not in a way of grasping energy, but being so rooted and grounded in your center, and being grounded in the awareness that you have, that when you do communicate, you know you are speaking from a place of sharing the light and just bringing greater awareness amongst people that maybe don't have the same awareness as you. So that is a gift. Bringing that light to a group, to a social group, to bring up the awareness is powerful. And that is your gift. So don't forget that. Don't shut yourself down because you feel like there's no space for you to contribute or talk. Sometimes that might happen, and that's a pattern that I'm working on overcoming. Instead of shutting down, really just having the strength and the courage to gently be like, hey guys, this is what I'm noticing, and I just want to communicate this from a place of love and compassion. And that is what will break down and break through the walls of any hard walls that there are that don't allow for the greatest ease in the space. My camera is about to die, so I'm going to wrap this up, and I think I feel complete in this conversation. But I hope this was empowering for you. I hope this maybe brought some awareness or brought some tools for you to bring forward in social situations or scenarios in your life going forward, so that you can rise in greater conscious communication, nonviolent communication, and stepping deeper into your truth. Thank you for being here. I love you. I'll see you next week. And as always, make sure you leave a review on Spotify. Make sure to like on YouTube if you are there, and subscribe. And last but not least, if you are feeling called to deeper sisterhood, to deeper growth, expansion, and faith, I would love to invite you into the Whole Soul Collective. It's where we meet once a week. with the most epic group of women, and we just go deep into the work of self-discovery, inner work, and just becoming the most embodied and confident, God-led woman you can be. I love you, and I'll see you next week.